Hello and welcome to another vibrant edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. Today we have a packed show for you, from exploring ways of managing and maintaining healthy soil to how the government is working to ensure our children's safety this season and beyond. Plus, we'll bring you some Christmas cheer and music to keep our hearts in tune with the spirit of the season. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the news.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, December 20, 2024. Patients seeking care at the Spanish Town Hospital and St. Jago Health Center in St. Catherine are benefiting from shorter wait times. This is one of the many benefits that's flowing from the implementation of the Electronic Health Records (EHR) system earlier this year. During a recent tour of the facilities to observe the system, Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton said the electronic platform was based on the philosophy of one patient, one record.
And what that means is that whatever data that is inputted concerning the patient when they come to see a doctor at a health center or hospital in this case, that data is pulled up based on their unique identification number. And you immediately know the history of the patient and therefore all the factors that may influence a treatment regime in a much quicker way.
It allows for the uploading and sharing of patient health records right across the public health system, including a seamless interface of critical diagnostic imaging that will enable doctors to see X-rays and CT scans on computers and tablets. There is also a patient registration system for appointment setting and assignment of patients in the triage process of a facility. After first being introduced at the Maypen Hospital, Spanish Town is the second hospital to implement the electronic health record system.
It's quicker and more efficient because now instead of multiple persons having to wait on a physical record, they can all access the record at the same time regardless of where they are in the health facility. So that means that there's a shorter time period for patients to wait.
Government has tabled legislation in Parliament aimed at increasing fines, updating related custodial sentences, and modernizing the legal framework for environmental management in Jamaica. They are the Natural Resources Conservation Authority Act, NRCA, and the Wildlife Protection Act. Both were tabled on December 10 by the Leader of Government Business in the House of Representatives, Minister Edmund Bartlett, on behalf of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation and the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA. The proposed amendments include increasing the maximum fine for offenses under both pieces of legislation to $5 million. The amendments also introduce distinctions between offenses committed by individuals and body corporates, with body corporates now subject to judgments in the circuit court. This change allows for the imposition of penalties based on the severity of the environmental crime. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Matthew Samuda, says the aim is to complete the overhaul of these legislation in the 2025-2026 financial year. To ensure a robust framework for protecting Jamaica's natural resources, he says the ministry will also be conducting a review of the enforcement capacity of all its environmental management agencies with regulatory authority. These include the National Environment and Planning Agency, the Forestry Department, and the Water Resources Authority. Bilateral trade between Jamaica and India has increased by $116 million, or 26%, in the past year. President of Jamaica Promotions Corporation, JAMPRO, Shillette Cox, says this remarkable increase on the previous year's figure is evidence of a growing dedication of two countries to nurture mutual economic prosperity. She points out that Jamaica has welcomed 4 delegations from India in the last 2 years and facilitated the International Startup Foundation, ISF, Global CXO Summit in June of this year, attracting an Indian delegation of over 15 companies. JAMPRO's president says conversations initiated at this summit opened new doors for strategic partnerships in sectors such as knowledge process outsourcing, business process outsourcing, agri-tech, fintech, and the creative industries.
Just this year alone, we at JAMPRO are very pleased to have facilitated 2 investment projects, one in digital services and one in agriculture, with principals that are from India. And I believe that this is only a sign of even bigger and better things to come.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Aubin Hill, says he is anticipating even more economic cooperation and investments from India and Indian investors.
We're looking to see Indians investing in Jamaica. We are not looking for loans. Prime Minister has made it very clear that even as we pivot, we're not pivoting to borrow to build an economy.
Senator Hill was addressing a business and ethics event organized by the Indian High Commission recently. The minister expressed pleasure with arrangements made between the 2 countries as Jamaica pivots to become efficient in areas of digital technology and training, as well as upskilling of the workforce.
We are pleased that the Prime Minister made these arrangements, especially in upskilling our people and the technology that we need, because if we're going to lead, and we are going to lead in the Caribbean, the only place is to go forward. If we are going to continue to lead, we're going to have to be a lot more efficient and digitized than we are today.
And finally, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green, is urging Jamaicans to stay informed on food prices by regularly checking updates in the major newspapers and on the ministry's website. This comes amid concerns over recent price hikes on some commodities during the Christmas season. Minister Green explains that while farmers have faced challenges leading to price adjustments, major price increases are often occurring at the resale level, not at the farm gate.
For example, when we look at the average price for local plummy tomato, it is about $660 per kilogram. However, in the Kingston metropolitan area, the same commodity is sold at an average price of $1,694 per kilogram, with prices climbing to as high as $2,070 per kilogram.
The minister says certain commodities such as pumpkin, callaloo, papaya, and watermelon have shown stability in prices with no significant changes over the past 2 weeks. But overall, he highlights discrepancies in prices between retailers, stressing that consumers need to be cautious when making purchasing decisions.
If you are not prudent in your decision making, you may really face the brunt of very high prices. For example, string beans. At one retailer, we found that string beans was being retailed for $1,319 per kilogram, while at another retailer in the Kingston metropolitan area, it was being retailed for $2,321 per kilogram. That's a 76% price difference between outlets.
Mr. Green was addressing a press briefing at his ministry recently. He says consumers can expect to see some price normalization by mid-January to early February 2025 as local production stabilizes. For ongoing updates, consumers can access price information on the ministry's official website at www.moa.gov.jm. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
At Christmas, where we're all in a celebratory mood, sometimes we may drink more than we should. We are in a light-hearted mood. We lose our presence of mind. But that's dangerous. At Christmas, we should all be looking to see the new year. We should all be looking to be alive to see the new year. It is the time when we should be looking to slow down in everything that we're doing. It should be the time when we're looking to be with our friends and family and to enjoy life. So at Christmas, don't put out your life, don't put out your light by carelessness. Be cautious on our roads. I want to see next year. Drive safe.
Thank you for staying with us. The Agricultural Land Management Division has been working diligently to educate Jamaicans on the importance of healthy soil and how to maintain soil health once it's established. Here's what they have to say.
Matter of soil health. A healthy soil is a soil that is able to support biodiversity both above ground and below ground. There are some things that we must consider in terms of what would be key indicators of soil health, or what you need to monitor and measure. There are three fundamental things that one must consider. The first being the soil physics. This aspect will attend to matters such as, what soil water holding capacity, hydraulic conductivity, soil moisture content, these issues. There are others that one must consider, such as the soil biology. For this aspect, the soil flora and fauna becomes exceptionally important. And so not only they cannot be viewed in isolation, they actually you must look at the matrix that impact their existence. In fact, you may find that there are food chains and food webs that involve these that we are not fully aware of. Okay? This must also be considered. The matter of the philospheric environment, or the above ground environment, and the below ground environment must be thoroughly considered, particularly in the region of the plant roots. So there are times when your soil might be under stress. In fact, if you clear an area that was never cultivated before, within the first 2 decades or so, your soil organic matter would have decreased significantly. So it is important that you have a regime that seek to replenish that organic material. And that is one of the things that is going to help with your soils being, sustainable.
Thanks to my Prime Minister for this opportunity. For me to be a homeowner.
I was living in a terrible condition for so many years. Thank you again.
We just try to make life goes on with the little that we have.
It is the aspiration of the government. It is what the government tries to do every day, to lift people out of poverty into a decent life. The new social housing program is a key component of the social safety net. As I've always said, this is probably one of the most fulfilling programs for me, because you literally see the transformation of people's lives.
There may be a long list of things people think women shouldn't do, but on the flip side, the list of things they can't do is shrinking. In our next feature, we'll highlight one area where a woman is definitely not afraid to take charge.
My name is Lilith Walker. Otherwise, them call me name Miss Melva. I'm a female landscaper living in St. Thomas, East Prospect. Welcome to my story.
The seventh of 8 children, this St. Thomas native is a jack of all trades, and it's safe to say she's a master of at least one. But let's start from the beginning. Young Melva attended licensed primary in the parish, then St. Thomas Technical High School, formerly Stokes Hall. But once she was finished with her schooling, Melva set out for the big city, working for a family of 5 in Kingston as a domestic worker. She moved further west to Old Harbour in St. Catherine, this time as a shopkeeper, and would return east later, where she settled into a family life, getting married and bearing 2 children. While she was doing this, Melva continued a patty business she inherited from her then landlord. Over time, her marriage ended, and Melva was looking for other ways to make ends meet. By this time, she was in her mid-30s. That's when she decided to go into groundskeeping.
You ever cut yard before that? Me never cut yard. Me buy one 85 machine and give it to one guy with me and him usual a friend. And he work the machine and he not carry no money, and I said to him, all right, bring the machine, come give me, I go cut the yard myself. And I just go just like that. I just said to one church sister, say, me I beg the yard if you cut, you know. And she say, we have a cutter man. And I say, all right, pray for me, that's God bless me, that's my best, bless my pastor. And from that, I go out there, can cut the yard perfect. After I'm going into landscaping, I see it was better than making patty, because when I'm making patty, sometimes no sleep. Go to my bed all 12 o'clock, wake up 2 o'clock, for bake, supply patty.
Melva found her next meal ticket and did not look back.
Burst out like BG kite. So after I burst out like BG kite, a lady give me a lot of land for cut down. And the first I drink so much juice in my life, whole heap of crowd come down. We see a female using a grass cutter and a hooky machine, chopping down the tree them. So whole heap of crowd come down and a look. From that, them start to issue out my number. I work Danvers Pen, Erie Castle, Retreat, Prospect, all over, taking taxi.
An admitted flaw in many can make manual labor seem like something to be embarrassed about. Couple that with something that is set apart from men, and the humiliation may double. Fortunately, this was not the case for Melva.
People like to see me go out there and work, man, because they're proud of me. Proud of me. A whole heap of ratings me get out there with people, whole heap of ratings.
And this includes her male counterparts.
The man, they like to see me, man. Some of them like come work alongside me to team up with me.
And Melva's talents do not stop at groundskeeping. This visual learner has picked up a lot of skills just by watching.
I can mix mortar, I use machete, I dig foundation. I take up the block them on the house top, I stay down the ground there so, and throw the sand up on the house top. I lift up bag of cement, I lift up the block them, I tie up steel even inside there, the living room, the passageway and the kitchen and the bathroom, and me and a guy named Shabba do the steel work for the decking. So I can't help myself. I just watch you do something and just graph it. Same like how the man they would have come and mix concrete. I just look where them do and I can mix concrete.
Melva admits that now at 52 years old, she has had to slow down, taking less jobs. But as for her choice of career, she has no regrets, and said she would not do anything else, as she has always tried to help herself and family by working and making an honest living, a mindset she hopes others will adopt.
You have some people downgrade yard cutting because right now if you find a person for rake, it's hard for you get them for rake. Because them a tell about them in them thing there with raking up a yard and things. There is no farmer work that downgrade you. From once you work your honest bread. Just go for it and put your mind and work honest and you will succeed in life.
Violence against children has unfortunately been on the rise in our society, and with the increasing use of technology, the situation has only worsened. The government has acknowledged this growing concern, and in our next feature, we'll provide an overview of the steps being taken to better safeguard our children.
Violence against children and youth impacts families, communities, and the future. To prevent it, we first need to understand it.
In 2022, the Planning Institute of Jamaica received cabinet approval to conduct the Violence Against Children and Youth Survey, VACS, with support from the government of the United States of America through the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR, and the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC. The survey was fielded by the Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation, EGPAF, and the University of the West Indies, MONA. The survey collected information on the prevalence of emotional, physical, and sexual violence against children and youth aged 13 to 24 years.
The Violence Against Children and Youth Survey shows that more than 3 out of every 4 children and youth in Jamaica have experienced some form of violence. Girls are more vulnerable to sexual violence.
I had to watch my brother die because of gang violence. I was forced to sit and watch him get tortured and then killed.
About 1 in 4 females and 1 in 3 males report knowing about gang activity in their school.
The protection of our children also requires a systematic approach and a more facilitative normative structure that is guided by data. The completion of the VACS and the findings are critical to enhancing our efforts at preventing and responding to violence against children. To this end, the data will support the work of the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information in its implementation of the National Plan of Action for an integrated response to children and violence. Furthermore, the data garnered will provide the country with valuable insights on the health and well-being and incidence of violence against children and youth in Jamaica. This will assist in determining the gaps in our current systems so that we can be more responsive, as well as design better policies and plans to treat with the needs of victims.
Christmas is a period for giving, but you'd agree this should be a year-round thing. If you're on board, here are 5 things to consider for your gift-giving rounds this Christmas. 1. Reach out to people or organizations that usually donate hot meals to the poor. This will help to space out supplies so that it reaches those on the receiving end in a more effective manner and ensure they're not bombarded with food that will go bad soon. 2. Meals are good, but also consider giving longer-lasting and needed items such as hygiene products, clothes, and books and toys for the little ones. 3. Consider opening your home for a little one for the season. We have boys and girls in state care who would love the chance at a loving and stable home, even if it's just for the holiday period. You will be doing them and yourself a favor. 4. Instead of giving something, try volunteering your time to the old and the vulnerable. Spend a day with them, talk to them, and listen. Offer to comb their hair or give them a needed pedicure. And finally, remember to love yourself. After all, if you don't have it for yourself, you sure do not have it to give to someone else. Happy gift giving.
Now a message of dedication from Vice Admiral Antoinette Weems Gorman of the Jamaica Defence Force.
At this time of year, the Jamaica Defence Force is reminded that our duty goes beyond articulated roles and functions. It extends to providing hope and opportunity for those in communities that we serve. Let us be the gift that keeps on giving in the lives we touch, to those we lead, and to the nation we serve. Through selfless service, we will continue to give of ourselves. And most importantly, we will continue to positively influence the youth of our society who are still impressionable and in need of guidance. As we celebrate and anticipate the new year, the Jamaica Defence Force commits to upholding its core values and to do our part to build a society that is peaceful and safe.
We've reached the end of our program. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Shalom.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.